I'm really, really running out of words.
Travel in style with our practical holiday guide.
Welcome to Holiday Maker.
This week we're cruising the Baltic, surfing in Ireland, and sunbathing in Greece.
I'm enjoying it already.
There's something for everyone and every budget. Topical travel ideas with Holiday Maker, Sunday at 7.
Brace yourself.
Who are you?
Bond, James Bond.
The Living Daylights, Saturday, 8:10 on ITV.
Okay, what colour is the grass?
Green.
Good. What colour is my jumper?
Blue.
What colour are my teeth?
Beige. Dark white. Creamy. Milky.
No matter how great your smile is, don't you wish it could be whiter? Now it can. Using new Colgate Whitening every day removes stains to help restore your teeth's natural whiteness while protecting against cavities and tartar.
Now what do you say?
New Colgate Whitening for whiter and protected teeth.
Does a thinner pad give you less protection at night? Not always. As well as being ultra thin, Always Ultra Night are extra long, which means they have twice as much of the ultra-absorbent core that turns liquid into gel. So there's nothing to lose any sleep over. Always Ultra Night. Less pad, more protection, all night.
Gillette for Women presents Sensor Excel. It leaves legs feeling not just smooth, but Sensor Excel smooth.
Satin smooth, swimsuit smooth, short skirt smooth, Sensor Excel smooth.
Sensor Excel's responsive blades adjust to shave close, so your legs feel smooth.
Sensor Excel smooth.
Okay, you're gonna love this guy. Runs like clockwork. Time?
0620.
He's finishing breakfast, and right now he's heading for the shower.
0621, he's in the shower. 20 Celsius, 53 seconds. 0622, he brushes his teeth. 20 strokes.
Is it the crispy golden flakiness, the lightly sweetened honeyness, or the flaky hint of nuttiness that makes Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes so irresistible?
0625, he's at the door. You can set your watch by him.
Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. The trouble is, they taste too good.
Too tired to wait for your nails to dry? Maybe it's more like every second counts. Quick, get Maybelline Express Finish. It goes from wet to set in 1 minute flat. In 40 can't wait to wear shades.
Now you can try them all.
Express Finish from Maybelline.
Maybe she's born with it.
Most accidents happen in the home, but would you know what to do when confronted by disasters like these? This couple did. They went to the Courts sale for fantastic savings and an extra 25% off all hotspot furniture, beds, carpets and TVs. So hurry down to Courts this holiday weekend. It'll be a crime to miss out.
Their lives were crumbling around them.
I hope they take you for everything you've got.
So they did what they had to do.
Yeah, I'm up for it. Drive!
Michelle Collins, Geraldine Somerville, Leslie Sharp and Emily Wolfe. Daylight Robbery, coming soon to ITV.
A man of justice, willing to stand by rules and regulations.
Your front doorbell wasn't working.
A touch of frost, Bank Holiday Monday.
If only I could find a real man.
I need to use your phone.
Brace yourself.
Who are you?
Bond, James Bond.
The Living Daylights, Saturday, 8:10 on ITV.
Last year, it started with a bang.
This is the worst start I have ever seen.
It ended in British celebration.
Raven Hill, fantastic.
This year, we go to Belgium with a real chance of a British world champion.
Eddie Irvine wins brilliantly.
But the chase is underway.
The winner is Mika Häkkinen.
With just 2 points in it, it doesn't get closer than this. The Belgian Grand Prix, live this weekend on ITV.
In Meridian News, 5 life sentences for the man who raped a teenage boy.
Join us after the ITV Nightly News.
Mother's plea, help me find my little girl. Farewell to Mir, abandoned in space tonight. Millions join the great bank holiday getaway. And clash of the Titans as United fall to Lazio.
From ITN, the ITV Nightly News with Andrea Catherwood.
Good evening. One of the biggest police searches ever launched for a missing person has been going on all day for Laura Kane, the 9-year-old girl missing since Wednesday. It's now been called off for the night, but it will resume again at first light. Teams of police using helicopters and dogs and joined by volunteers combed woodland around her home in Tyne Wear. Earlier, Laura's mother made an emotional appeal for information. Colin Baker reports.
Laura's mother and 6 brothers and sisters wait tonight inside the family home for news. Any news of the little girl described as happy and bubbly. Laura waved goodbye to her mother at 4 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon, saying she was going to play with a friend. But despite the most intensive search in the northeast for some years, there's not been a glimpse of her or any indication of what may have happened to Laura. Volunteer rescue teams from Northumberland and Yorkshire have tackled the most inaccessible areas around the village of Penshaw where Laura lived. They did not find anything. From Laura's mother Carol, struggling to cope with every parent's nightmare, an appeal for help.
She's a happy, bubbly, friendly child that would believe most things an adult would tell her. All I wish to say is, if anybody knows anything, has seen her or thinks they've seen her, can I let the police know? She's not going to get wrong. I'm not annoyed with her. All her family love her. All her brothers and sisters love her. We just want her safe return home.
It is particularly unusual that there hasn't been a single sighting of Laura since she waved goodbye to her mother on Wednesday afternoon. And as the hours pass without any trace, the police are becoming increasingly concerned about her safe return. Unfortunately, at the moment, nothing can be ruled out. Colin Baker, ITN, Penshaw in Tyne Wear.
Within the past hour, Russian space experts have watched with sadness as the last cosmonauts who'll ever set foot on board the Mir space station undocked. The pride of the communist space era will now fly unmanned until scientists hope it burns up before it plunges back to Earth. From Russia, Howell Jones reports.
The video link from Mir was poor quality, but it did not obscure the emotion of this moment, the farewell by its final crew. Mir has survived fire, computer failure and a collision, but tonight its mission ended because of a more mundane reason, lack of money. After 13 years of continual occupation, the crew was leaving Mir empty. The final man into the return capsule was the commander, Viktor Afanasyev. He said it was a bitter moment, abandoning a little bit of Russia. Then he closed and sealed the hatch. In the last hour, the crew undocked from Mir to begin the journey back to Earth. The 3 men have left a capsule which was home to 25 separate crews and orbited the Earth more than 76,000 times. Still the pride of the Russian space program, it was designed, built and launched during the days of the Cold War. The maiden mission was in 1986, when Mir had a projected lifespan of just 5 years. More than 11 years later, an unmanned capsule crashed into Mir, sending it spinning out of control. On board was British-born Michael Foale, cheerful in the face of Mir's many breakdowns. Cosmonauts say the greatest thing Mir has taught them is simply how to live in space, the everyday things that are just a little more difficult in zero gravity. Alexander Kaleri flew 2 missions on Mir. He told me it should have been saved. Mir was a real home, he said, and it saddens us when it becomes shabby. The end for that pioneering home will come next year when it will burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. Howell Jones, ITN, Moscow.
Mo Mowlam is tonight still waiting to find out whether the Ulster Unionists will launch a legal challenge over her ruling that the IRA ceasefire is still intact. They've spent the day in meetings discussing their next move. Paul Davis reports.
Chief Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, please welcome Dr. Mo Mowlam!
In this pre-recorded interview to be broadcast later tonight, the Ulster Secretary appeared upbeat, ignoring criticism of her judgment that the IRA ceasefire is still intact.
But are we ever going to get there?
Yes, we are, because people want it. And the politicians are trying. It's not easy. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough.
Leading unionist politicians today said the Ulster Secretary's judgment was legally flawed and could now be challenged in the High Court.
She based her decision on the criteria set down in the Northern Ireland Sentences Act. Those criteria require that an organisation benefiting from prisoner releases must maintain a complete and unequivocal ceasefire. And it's clear that the IRA ceasefire is not complete and unequivocal.
As an indication that parts of the peace agreement are still being followed, the Northern Ireland Prison Service confirmed today that the body of IRA man Tom Williams has been removed from its grave inside Crumlin Road jail. Williams was 19 when he was hanged for involvement in the murder of an RUC constable in 1942. That has only caused more anger amongst those unionists who view this as another example of a one-sided peace process, with concession after concession being made to keep the nationalists on board. Paul Davis, ITN, Belfast.
And tonight it's being reported the IRA has threatened to shoot 5 teenage boys unless they leave Northern Ireland by 6 p.m. tomorrow. The RUC confirmed a death threat has been made against the boys. The Agriculture Minister, Nick Brown, risked the wrath of sheep farmers today, declaring that they are partly to blame for plummeting lamb prices because they've oversupplied the market. He held crisis talks with his Welsh counterpart, Christine Gwyther, but ruled out any direct help. And both condemned farmers who've dumped livestock in animal sanctuaries and phone boxes. Britain today condemned the escalating violence in East Timor as it stands on the brink of winning independence from Indonesia in Monday's referendum. At the same time, the United Nations demanded action to stop voters being intimidated. For years, the East Timorese have waged a long and bloody struggle against Indonesian rule. Here's our Asia correspondent, Tom Bradby.
The referendum is on Monday, but today many Timorese decided they couldn't wait. The Indonesians have ruled this place for more than 20 years in an occupation estimated to have cost 200,000 lives. Many who've endured much for the chance to vote today decided the risks were too great. Just living here is dangerous. Running street battles and violence by the pro-Indonesian militia continue. And the UN is tired of listening to the Indonesian military promising that it will bring the violence under control.
It is crucial that even at this late stage, concrete and effective steps be taken by Indonesia to control the militias.
The UN insisted the referendum will go ahead on Monday, whatever the threats. The ballot will give the East Timorese a choice between autonomy and full independence. But of course, for the victims of violence, the question comes too late. Pro-independence campaigners want a UN peacekeeping force to be brought in here immediately, but that's some way off. And for the East Timorese, the immediate future remains deeply uncertain. Tom Bradby, ITN.
The bank holiday weekend is underway tonight. It's estimated that 1.5 million people are going abroad. Those staying here can expect a warm and sunny few days. Here's Sue Saville.
The Great British Bank Holiday Getaway is tonight underway as predicted, with heavy traffic on the key routes out of cities, heading for the coasts, airports and family attractions. It began much earlier in the day, with congestion on the M6 in particular, as people headed to Blackpool and the Lake District. Parents were given this advice.
Give the kids something to do in the car, give them a book, a cassette, stop off for breaks, and then you'll keep them happy. They'll be less likely to distract you.
It's one of the busiest weekends of the year for airports, as passengers head off for a late summer's escape. Short-haul destinations are the most popular.
We expect something like 1.5 million people to travel away on some sort of a break out of the country, and even just through the London area, 750,000 going through the London airports themselves.
Many travellers are seeking a more reliable summer.
Well, it's good at the moment, but it hasn't been consistent, has it?
Well, you can't guarantee it, unfortunately, and this has been pre-booked.
The bank holiday weekend queues are not just on the roads.
Here at Cash Points is expected to be the busiest weekend on record. £164 million to be withdrawn from Cash Points today alone, ready for the weekend.
Major events like the Edinburgh Festival and London's Notting Hill Carnival are hoping for good weather. It is promised for the south, but many have already chosen to leave the country in search of sunshine. Sue Saville, ITN.
Police are tonight investigating the circumstances surrounding the birth of a baby to a girl of 12. She's said to be doing well in hospital in Rotherham and hadn't known she was pregnant until she had the baby boy at home. Police say they'll be looking at the age difference between the girl, one of Britain's youngest mothers, and the baby's father. One of television's most senior figures has been outlining his view of the future of broadcasting tonight. Speaking at the Edinburgh International Television Festival, the chief executive of ITV, Richard Eyre, said viewers will have more control than ever before in the coming multi-channel world. Our media correspondent, Katie Derham, reports.
The McTaggart Lecture is the keynote speech of the Edinburgh TV Festival, the chance for a senior industry figure to spell out his or her vision and spark debate. This lecture was expected to be an attack on the BBC, but Richard Eyre, who earlier this year was a runner-up in the race to become its new Director General, was keen to stress the importance of the corporation. However, his point was that the whole industry and the whole notion of public service broadcasting is changing fast.
Whatever we now call the people we're broadcasting to, these people have the mentality not of passive viewers happily lapping up what we supply, but customers who are actively involved in shaping the supply lines to their satisfaction.
With such choice now available, Eyre argued that TV regulation was not just impossible, it won't be necessary, as viewers will demand good quality.
The viewers must lead all regulation, but there are viewers with minority interests that have to be catered for as well as the majority ones.
Tonight's lecture kicks off a weekend of industry discussion which every year shapes what we all watch on television. Katie Derham, ITN, Edinburgh.
Football, Manchester United went down 1-0 to Lazio in Monaco tonight, failing to add the European Super Cup to their impressive collection of trophies. Jonathan Swain watched the match.
Barely a month into the football season and already Manchester United are in a cup final. A win against Lazio tonight would further confirm their status as the best side in Europe. But with the Italian season yet to start, Lazio were the side with something to prove and started the more determined. United, with an exhausting schedule of Premier fixtures at the moment, looked a little tired in defence. Lazio's Salas made the most of this, but could keeper Van der Hau have done more. 1-0 down and United were woken. Beckham's trademark cross gave Scholes the best of their chances. In the second half, United were lucky not to go 2 down. Salas again weaving his way through the defence, but somehow his shots didn't quite make it. But Lazio remained in control and held their lead to the end. A good start to their season and a boost to their chances for more European success this year. So no European trophies for United tonight, but their spirits may be lifted when they play troubled Newcastle United in the Premiership on Monday. Jonathan Swain, ITN Sport.
The Scotland manager, Craig Brown, has named his squad for next month's Euro 2000 qualifiers against Bosnia and Estonia. Hearts striker Gary McSwegan, who scored a hat-trick last weekend against Aberdeen, is rewarded with his first call-up for the national side. Tonight's main story is the search for 9-year-old Laura Kane. And tonight's financial figures: the FTSE 100 share index ended down nearly 9 points. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones closed down over 100 points and the pound was up a fraction against the dollar. And now for a look at tomorrow's papers. The Independent leads with the crisis in British farming, which it claims is the worst for 60 years. It also shows a giant new sculpture which is on display at the Science Museum. The Daily Telegraph has a story on a bogus asylum seeker who was given 5 life sentences for rape. The main picture focuses on the meeting between the Countess of Wessex and the Irish President Mary McAleese in Dublin. The Daily Mail looks ahead to the publication of the report by a French judge into the death of Diana.